Hello, this is Anthony from Help Dominant Side. This is a little bit different from my usual rugby league stories. Every now and again a story pops up which catches my interest. I'm a little bit up at this moment in time, despite this episode being about the Queen. As you may not have known, she had passed away 2 days ago, aged 96. But there are some bad stories around the Queen and the rule of law in the royal family and the history, but there are also some good ones. But there are also some funny ones. I'm going to show you 3 funny stories. And if you like these, every now and again, I do different types of stories from rugby league. But if you're a rugby league fan, thank you for watching it. So, remember to like, subscribe and share the video worldwide, as well as clicking the notification bell if you like this video. Story number 1 comes from an unusual source, to be honest, as former Prime Minister Theresa May spoke in Parliament over the last couple of days in regards to Queen Elizabeth II. This is a fantastic story. Made me smile. For one reason, didn't know Theresa May had it in her.
My husband tells of the time he had a dream. He dreamt that he was sitting in the back of a Range Rover being driven around a Balmoral estate, and the driver was Her Majesty the Queen, and the passenger's seat was occupied by his wife, the Prime Minister. And then he woke up and realised it was reality. Her Majesty loved the countryside, and she was down to earth and a woman of common sense. I remember one picnic at Balmoral which was taking place in one of the bothes on the estate. The hampers came from the castle and we all mucked in to put the food and drink out on the table. I picked up some cheese, put it on a plate and was transferring it to the table. The cheese fell on the floor. I had a split-second decision to make. I picked up the cheese, put it on the plate and put it on the table. And I turned round to see that my every move had been watched very carefully by Her Majesty the Queen. I looked at her, she looked at me, and she just smiled. And the cheese remained on the table.
The second story comes from the TV show QI, as Stephen Fry talks about Queen Elizabeth's wicked sense of humour and also her impatience. It's fantastic because Alan Davis's reaction when I heard this was exactly the same as mine. Hopefully you enjoyed this one too.
The Queen yet?
Yes. She nudged me once, quite hard in the ribs. It was quite funny. It was her son's wedding to Camilla at Windsor Castle, and she'd made this very funny speech. She got on a table. She'd stood on the table.
She got on a table?
Yeah, she stood on the table. She stood on the chair and got on the table, and then she made a very funny speech, and she got down, and she just mingled among everyone. And I was chatting to someone, I got this rib. Is anybody going to give me cake? So I said, of course, ma'am, I'll get you some cake.
It must be a dream.
I
dreamed all of it.
I know it sounds mad, but it's absolutely...
I'm going outside for a fag.
I was in the days I'd smoked, and I'm afraid I was caught by a photographer in the buttresses of the chapel in Windsor.
Whose buttresses?
In my big top hat and everything, smoking a cigarette.
Finally, one that was flowing around Twitter for a few days now, and has been on Twitter for quite some time, as it's a fantastic story about the Queen and her estate and the walks that she used to do all the time. She was always protected, and here's one of the protectors with the anecdote that really seals the Queen's sense of humour for me.
On these picnic sites, you meet nobody. But there was 2 hikers coming towards us, and the Queen would always stop and say hello. And it was 2 Americans on a walking holiday. And it was clear from the moment that we first stopped, they hadn't recognised the Queen, which is fine. And the American gentleman was telling the Queen where he came from, where they were going to next, and where they'd been to in Britain. And I could see it coming, and sure enough, he said to Her Majesty, "And where do you live?" And she said, "Well, I live in London, but I've got a holiday home just the other side of the hills." And he said, "Well, how often have you been coming up here?" "Oh," she said, "I've been coming up here ever since I was a little girl, so over 80 years. And you could see the clogs thinking. He said, "Well, if you've been coming up here for 80 years, you must have met the Queen." And as quick as a flash says, "Well, I haven't, but Dick here meets her regularly." So the guy said to me, "Oh, you've met the Queen, what's she like?" And because I was with her a long time and I knew I could pull a leg, I said, "Oh, she can be very cantankerous at times, but she's got a lovely sense of humour." Anyway, the next thing I knew, this guy comes around, put his arm around my shoulder, and before I could see what was happening, he gets his camera, gives it to the Queen, and says, "Can you take a picture of the two of us?" Anyway, we swapped places, and I took a picture of them with the Queen, and we never let on, and we waved goodbye. And then Her Majesty said to me, "I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he shows those photographs to the friends in America."
So what do you think? Does that perk you up a little bit more? It has done that for me. I'm smiling from ear to ear with these stories, and it's made me feel a little bit better over the trying days that a woman that is outside of my family, who has been around since before I was born. Every coin has been with her face on, every stamp, every note. Every Christmas, there's a Christmas that we know that the Queen's speech is going to happen. May not watch them, but know that she does them every single year. It's going to be sad this year that she doesn't do it. But time passes on. Hopefully this would have got you out of any funk you may have. Just a little bit of a smile. Don't take it any other way than just me bringing you a little bit of a happy story from a person with a nice sense of humour. There's some good stories. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. I'll now wish you all the best, so please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode of Held Dominance.